Esto es Entre dos teléfonos.
Hey John, curious, how many languages do you speak?
Yeah, that intro, I heard that intro and it threw me off. That was our Espanol edition. What are we speaking Spanish? I actually speak a little bit, un
A smidge?
poquito
Well, you're in
de
Texas,
español.
that makes sense, but
It's
with
close
all,
enough to Mexico, right? We don't
yeah,
have we I don't speak it well, so I cannot say I'm very fluent. I took
I
three
speak a
years.
little bit of German, a smidge of German, and just enough to order a drink and make sure I don't get in trouble. But the funny thing is,
The
John, so
important things.
you and I do a lot of work with international people, like a lot. We
We
have a lot of
do.
meetings now, and for the most part, I kind of feel bad about this a little bit. Is for the most part, people will speak English, but I've found times a language barrier is a hindrance. People like find it difficult to do business. And there's a lot of industries that pay for these services for translation, and Zoom now has a feature to be able to take care of this.
Yes, and Zoom being a global organization, we actually do use this internally quite often. I actually
Mhm.
had a chance to catch up with one of our colleagues in Brazil, and
Oh, it's got to be Humberto.
you know it. So let's take a
Ah,
look.
that guy's great.
Hey, thanks for joining me today, Umberto. You and I did a video a few years back that talks all about our subtitles and translated subtitles when you were speaking Portuguese and I was speaking English. Now we have the ability to make that a live conversation where I can actually hear what you're saying in my native language. So I can click this button down at the bottom where it says Voice Translator. It says my speaking language is English. Language I want to hear is English. Yes, that is true of me. Umberto would select his language there, and then I can balance the audio volume however I want here on this sidebar so that I can have the original versus the translated. I can hear one louder than the other. The translated for me would be more beneficial in this case, so I would turn up the translated volume louder. And so I can also select my translated voice style. I have a couple of different ones to choose from there, and I can test the voice here as well. But why test it when I have Umberto here? How you doing, Umberto?
Hey John, ¿cómo estás? Estoy usando esta nueva funcionalidad de Zoom.
Hey Joe, how are you? I'm using this new Zoom feature.
I'm good. Yeah, it's working, and I can hear you in English, even though you're speaking Spanish right now.
Sí, John, estoy muy contento
Okay.
porque ahora podemos hablar libremente.
Yes, I'm very happy because now we can talk freely.
Okay, so that's really cool. I actually like the fact that it's similar to live translation services where a person talks,
It
there's a
is.
slight delay, and then you hear back, right?
Yep.
I've seen a couple of things where solutions have tried to literally play it as it's speaking, and it's so hard to
Yep.
keep track. Like my brain tries to multitask that, and it doesn't work out. So it's really nice to feel that like almost traditional sense of they're going to speak a little bit of buffer, and then I'm going to hear in English what they're saying, and now they get to stay native. That's a really, really good inclusive feature.
I agree, and you need that little bit of delay. While it may seem slightly awkward, the reason for it is a lot of times we have to actually find the full context of the sentence so we don't use the wrong term for it. I think of something like I'm looking at you through my monitor right now. Monitor could mean a lot of different things, but
So
when you
many.
put it into a different context, a monitor could mean audio speakers. It could mean
Yep,
video display. It could mean a monitor lizard. It could mean
absolutely.
I'm monitoring you. There's so many
I hope
different
not.
and in the English language, we have a
Yes,
lot of that. We have more than
so
we
much. Way too. Translating English has got to be, and even worse is American English because we don't take that a long way from the roots.
we we do
It's
have a lot of we have a lot of dialects. We have a lot of I would say colloquialisms. We have a lot of
Mhm.
phrases that you and I are guilty of using from time to time, especially in
Yes.
the international audience. I don't I really do feel I really do feel bad for some of our translators that have to translate our calls that are live translators that are humans because of these
Especially
things.
with somebody like myself, you're pretty good about having a good cadence. But anybody who's seen me speak live, if I'm excited about the subject, I start moving fast. I'm going, hey, and then you talk about this and you talk about that, and those poor translators, and they do a great job. But it's nice to see that we've got this solution there, not even for international folks, but I know like a lot of education, a lot of industries, especially not large enterprise, but smaller organizations
Yeah.
have to pay translation services to come in.
It's
And
a
now
huge
we have an
expense.
option for them.
It's
Yeah.
a huge expense, and this is taking a bite out of that for sure. This is allowing multinational businesses who are doing businesses around the globe in different languages to really lower those borders. They don't have to rely so heavily on a language barrier. They don't have to avoid that language barrier, and they don't have to rely so heavily on a paid translation service that they may either be adding to their calls or adding live or adding in some environment. Or if you're like me and you just didn't want to read the captions that we've been doing for years and you'd rather
Forever.
hear it, it's
Yes.
now available as an add-on to our licensing. And it is very AI leaning because we're taking those phrases. We're literally taking those phrases, those things that are being said, and we are making sure they first make sense in the context of the language they are speaking. And then beyond that, we translate it using AI and play it back using AI. So it is a full
Yeah.
process.
Which is exactly why we have that gap, which is exactly why natural intelligence translators, human translators have that same gap because they are looking for context. I've actually seen translation services which go verbatim word for word, and they do not make sense
Yeah,
either
if you
direction.
ever if you ever doubt it, try to take it from one language and go back to your original language. So for me, English to let's say Portuguese for Umberto, and then which by the way, Umberto speaks fluent
Oh,
English, fluent
very good.
Portuguese, and fluent Spanish. I wish I
And
was.
I think he's conversational in Italian and something else.
That's
Like the
amazing.
man, yeah.
That's amazing. He actually joins our monthly What's New calls, by the way, for partners who haven't uh if you haven't joined our What's New at Zoom calls, we do this uh once a month for the entire platform, once a month for the entire customer experience product as well. These are calls that you should be joining because
Yes.
they are keeping you current. Well, Umberto joins all of these, and he has been doing this for years, and he's been translating live language translation in his native language, Portuguese, for some time. So big kudos to him, and appreciate that. He is very talented to be able to do that. And I back to my original point: if you're going from English over to Portuguese or Spanish, translate it back to English and see what you get
Just to
sometimes
see what happens
when you
there.
throw it through those
Yeah.
translators, just to see what you're getting, especially if it's something dependent upon, like you're publishing a document, always a good idea to do that just to make sure that it looks normal.
Absolutely. So once again, Zoom's helping people out, really democratizing the ability to do a lot of these things that used to cost a lot of money. I know translation services are not inexpensive, and it's nice to see us bring that feature all the way from large multinational corporations to small community organizations that are working in areas that English as a second language is a prominent feature of that culture. And to be able to go in there and really provide services better, it's a great thing. I absolutely
Yeah.
love it, John.
Amazing new feature, generally available now to all Zoom customers. Give it a try and see what you think, and we'll see you next time on Between Two Phones.